welcome to my bedroom. Okay, so this actually isn't my bedroom, but this is my home for the next few days. I'm on a writing retreat in Niagara-on-the-Lake, which is supposed to be the most haunted place in Canada. I'm hoping that the energy will be some good creative writing energy for me. So I'm basically going to be spending 4 days in this room. I'll give you a bit of a tour in a second, trying to work on my book. But tonight I am going out with some friends for dinner and a bit of a ghost tour. And then on the last day, my friend Hayley is going to come and we're going to explore Niagara because it's a pretty big wine region too. So it's not going to be all work and no play. There'll be play and there'll be work, and I'm very excited. Yes, I do match the bedding and I do match my whiskey of choice. I brought this with me basically to fuel the creative process. So when I feel like I'm lagging in the evenings, I'll have myself some Glenmorangie, because that's what all the good writers of the 18th and 19th century would do. I was staying at an amazing newly renovated hotel called House 29, which is really beautiful. It actually looks like something from a Vogue magazine. The interior was really cool and chic and was definitely not like the old-timey vibe you get at most Niagara-on-the-Lake B&Bs. The owners, Dustin and Amanda, told me that they didn't think the place was haunted, but that the house a couple of doors down on the corner was. Now, I'm not sure if I'd had one too many whiskeys one evening, but I had a really vivid dream about a German woman when I was staying there. She was friendly and she baked cookies, and when I woke up, I genuinely thought I saw her standing at the edge of my bed. But again, I think this was probably because I was alone in Canada's most haunted town rather than there actually being a ghost. And you think the owners would know, right? Any thoughts I had of ghosts were totally gone at breakfast though, because Dustin and Amanda make, and I don't say this lightly, the best breakfast you're gonna find in Niagara-on-the-Lake. They're actually better than anything I've eaten in Toronto, but you have to be a lucky guest at the B&B to get them. I actually think I put on around £5 because I was determined to eat every single bite of mine. So great. Other than being a beautiful old historic town possibly filled with ghosts, Niagara-on-the-Lake is known for its wine growing region. It's, in my opinion, one of the best in the world. I've actually talked a lot about Niagara wines in my travel vlogs and I love them. One day, my fabulous friend Erin, who runs the Wine Sisters in Toronto, she's a sommelier, we headed out to wine country to taste a few vintages and learn about ghosts. Ghosts and wine make you feel fine? One of the most haunted wineries in the region is Vineland Estates. Here we had a lovely wine tasting, followed by a tour of the haunted cellars. And their wine expert, Tommy, was keen to tell us a little bit more about the paranormal permanent residents there. And, you know, there were shivers up my spine. Haunted barrels? Or
haunted
no?
barrel cellar, come on in.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We got over 200 barrels down here, and each barrel has almost 300 bottles of wine in it, so you can only imagine if the apocalypse comes, how long we'd be able to survive down here.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Oh, I mean, not excited for the apocalypse,
Yeah.
but like happy for you. Very happy.
Right? All right, just at the very end of our barrel cellar here, we have our vintage library where we keep back a lot of our wines to age so that they can become better.
He says all of the ghosts are nice though, so good.
Yeah, here at Vineland, we actually are an older property, so just through time we've had a lot of opportunities for ghosts to kind of make themselves home here. So I'm sure if you visit us and ask us about it, we can tell you all the different stories, but one of the more recent stories that I have experienced was I was in the wine shop, which is just next door there, and there was a customer that was in actually, and we were talking, and the topic was actually ghosts. And she mentioned that she heard Vineland Estates was haunted, and she was asking if it was true. And at that point, it was myself and her just at our bar there, and I had another coworker of mine over at the cash register, so there were only 3 people in the building. And over where our cheese market was, as we were talking about the ghosts, one of our little ramekins that we put our sauces in for the cheese board goes flying off the shelf and breaks on the floor. And surely enough, she looked at me and she said, "Yeah, I think this place is haunted." But overall, I've been here for 4 years, and we have a few different characters of ghosts here, but none of them have ever been harmful or dangerous in any way, but once in a while they do like to remind us that they are still here.
Learning about ghosts is thirsty work and hungry work, so Erin and I sat down for lunch at Vineland Estate, and I'm happy to report that we were the only ravenous ghouls at the table. It's lunchtime. We're all very excited. I'm having a Sauvignon Blanc. We're at Vineland Estate. Erin's gonna teach me a little bit about food and wine pairings here. Very excited, and you know I love to eat, so let it commence. Erin, I've got a Sauvignon Blanc and I've got an heirloom tomato salad. What am I expecting here?
Well, the reason why we decided to go with the Sauvignon Blanc, even though you're a huge red fan, is that sometimes it's just nicer in the heat of the summer, even though we've got a few storm clouds brewing, nice in the heat of the summer to have a nice thirst-quenching white. And you'll notice that Sauvignon Blanc has a really vegetal quality. Some might pick that up as asparagus or cut grass, some might pick it up as bell pepper, or even a green tomato leaf. Well, notice that you have a beautiful heirloom tomato salad, which looks more like a work of art than it does actually a beautiful plate. But yeah, so hopefully that herbaceousness and that savory note in your wine will echo that savory note in your salad.
I've got a kind of a blue cheese cream here.
Oh.
I think the acidity is going to cut through nicely.
You are a quick study there, Rebecca.
I am eating Ontario trout because I love to eat local. Erin has suggested a Pinot Meunier to go with it. We tried this in the tasting room and it was really lovely, so I'm excited to see how red wine pairs with fish. I know it's unconventional. The skies are getting very intense behind us. We're excited for lunch.
But you know we're Canadian because we will eat outside any chance we get. We have 8 months inside, so even if the skies are threatening, you got to take a look at this. The wind is blowing. We are here and we are here for it. So I've got a beautiful duck confit with some blueberry jus and compote, a little bit of parsnips, all very Canadian here at Vineland Estates. Really locally sourced, really carefully prepared. I can't recommend it enough. But what have I done? I've paired a Cabernet Franc with this. Why? Because the deep color of the fruit and the deep flavor of the fruit in the wine, I think will be beautiful against all of the deep blueberry compote. Similarly though, we've got a little bit of rusticity with the beets and the parsnips, and Cabernet Franc naturally has a bit of savory herbaceousness, and I think both those flavors will complement each other. Plus, this dish has a bit of weight to it. Cabernet Franc is a little bit of a mid to full weight wine. I think I've got a great pairing. And you know what? I'm not going to wait to find out. I'm diving in. Cheers.
Cheers to Erin in a storm. Cheers. While we were sat down, we actually heard a little bit more about the Vineland Estate ghosts from more of the employees. Apparently there is a woman there called Mary who doesn't like it when people work late. So much so that she will blow papers off their desks. Ooh. Later, I went back to my hotel to do more writing, and Dustin and Amanda had even made me a special cocktail to help with my creative juices, and I thought it was amazing. This evening, the possible German ghosts didn't visit me in my sleep. Maybe it's a Scotch whiskey thing rather than a bourbon thing. So I learned a little bit more about this from my friend Dean later on, but the reason Niagara-on-the-Lake is apparently so haunted is because it sits on the site of a battle that took place in 1812, and a lot of people were killed. Although the ghosts of the soldiers are not the only spirits to roam the town. Look out for any strange blue orbs, because these could be from the Watcher, said to be a regular town ghost. Apparently a lot of people see a strange blue light or orb floating nightly through the town. I'd better pay close attention to my footage. Can you imagine if I see it now? One of the most haunted buildings in Niagara-on-the-Lake is the Ye Olde Angel Inn pub. It's a British pub in the centre of town, and I felt right at home because they serve good beer and a truly excellent fish pie. Seriously, I got mushy peas too, and it was one of the best meals that I'd had all year. I could write songs about this, but back to the video. The pub is supposed to be home to the ghost of an old British soldier who hid out from invading forces during the Battle of 1812. He hid in a barrel in the basement of the inn, and apparently he got slashed. It's unfortunate. It is said that his wails can still be heard at night. Now, I didn't hear anything, but I was too busy with my fish pie, which once again was excellent. By day, Niagara-on-the-Lake doesn't look too scary at all. It actually looks like a lovely, quaint lakeside town. But by night, there are plenty of ghost tours running for thrill seekers. I went on an unofficial tour with my friend, a local winemaker named Dean. Dean took me and Erin through a graveyard and basically scared the crap out of us. Here's Here's what went down.
We're in historic downtown Niagara-on-the-Lake, and we're gonna walk around and do sort of a little private ghost tour. We're standing in front of the courthouse that has been standing for hundreds of years, and we're gonna kind of walk around. We're gonna see a historic, one of the oldest cemeteries in southern Ontario. We're gonna walk by a couple old haunted hotels. You know, we're in Niagara-on-the-Lake. It's a lot of history here, a lot of history. The War 1812 happened right here. We're gonna pass by Fort George, and we're gonna talk about a few stories of what makes this town haunted.
Like this.
Just very scary. This place behind me, apparently the last place they did public executions in Canada, quite terrifying. Heads will roll. Somebody may have died here. Somebody might have died here. But to be honest with you, after a long history in the world, somebody might have died anywhere, so. Okay.
So we're heading down to a cemetery here in Niagara-on-the-Lake, and in this area of Niagara-on-the-Lake, or Niagara-on-the-Lake in general, the War of 1812 was concentrated a lot in the area of Niagara-on-the-Lake, and we're heading down to Fort George to see where the fort was that defended Canada and got us to where we are today.
Do you believe in ghosts, Erin?
I do.
You heard a voice. Is it a ghost?
I don't know if it's a ghost or not, but it's somebody who's going to come and get us in trouble.
No, I don't think it
Could be a ghost.
might scare us.
I actually genuinely feel really scared. Should I
Born
put that out there?
1836, died 1867, aged 31 years old, in memory of...
Fuck, that's how old we are.
John and Catherine.
I heard something of it. What was that?
1935.
What's happening over here? I heard a noise.
You're gonna
Oh!
wait,
What's happening over here? Stop it.
look at this one. Look at this.
Just look
straight
like
up
a
scary
person,
one.
but it's not. Thank you, Dean. I will never sleep soundly again. Did I get a lot of writing done in Niagara-on-the-Lake? Actually, between bites and sips of delicious wine, I really, really did. Beyond that, the ghosts of the old town, or I should actually say the mystical energy, kind of really sparked my imagination, which was really good for my creative juices. Although, speaking of creative juices, Hayley came down at the end of my stay to visit more wineries with me. And we all know how it turns out when Hayley's around. She's loud enough to scare off even the most perilous ghoul. Do you guys believe in ghosts? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Honestly, I don't actually know how I feel about it yet, but I do know that I believe in good food and wine, which is plenty enough reason to visit Niagara-on-the-Lake. Okay, so actually, I was about to end the video here, but when I was editing, I want to revisit the first piece of footage I showed you. This is just of Niagara in the town. Now, I talked about the ghost, the Watcher, who appears as a blue orb. And I'm not trying to be like a conspiracy theorist or anything, but is this not a blue orb? Like, is this the Watcher? What do you think?